everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Welcome if this is your first time. Today's video is actually my most requested video. It is how to make a swimsuit without a serger. So I am going to be making this swimsuit with just my sewing machine, no serger. I'm taking you step by step to see the whole process of making this swimsuit. You do not need a serger to make a swimsuit, as you can tell. It was a simple process, and I will show you how you can get it done.
You will need the following supplies to make this swimsuit. Before you cut any fabric, always check the stretch. All spandex is not the same. Sometimes one side is stretchier than the next. You want the stretchiest part going side to side rather than top to bottom. Place your bodysuit on your fabric and draw an outline. I would recommend that you draw your outline on the back of the fabric. I use the front because I'm a bit more experienced. Plus, the back of this fabric is white, which is similar to my background, and it would not have been as easy for you to see. This pattern that you are cutting should be symmetric, and to do that, just fold it in half. To have everything equal, remember, fold it so that both sides are the same. You can adjust your pattern to your style. Make the legs higher, make the arms lower, or even have a deeper neckline. It's all up to you. I decided to make my legs a little higher. Remember, fold it so that it's symmetric. Both sides should be the same. I also trimmed off a bit from the arms and fold again so that they're equal. The sides of your swimsuit should always be slimmer at the waist so that there's no gap in the back of your swimsuit. This is the front of the swimsuit that we have cut. Once you are happy with your design, go ahead and place it with the print facing the print so that you can cut the back. Pin the front to the fabric so that it's not shifting when you are cutting. You can decide how big or small you want the butt of your swimsuit to be. If you cut it the exact size as the front, it's going to be a high cut. If you cut it a little wider than the front, which I'm doing, you will get a more covered classic cut. Look at how quickly you cut your pattern. Now it's time to sew it. So these parts that I'm pointing to, we're going to use a straight stitch. These are my machine settings. Gently place your hand on the fabric to guide it as it sews. Don't go too quickly. For my videos, I speed up the parts where I'm sewing so that my videos are not too long. Take your time so that you don't make mistakes. I don't sew this quickly. This is just fast forwarded. We are almost finished connecting the sides. This is the last piece that needs to be connected. So now the front and back are connected with a simple straight stitch. I told you you don't need a serger. This is what your swimsuit should be looking like. I will recommend using a zigzag stitch close to your straight stitch so that your swimsuit is a lot stronger. I will add a zigzag stitch to all these parts that I'm pointing to. I will show you the sewing machine settings to do the zigzag. I will now put my stitch length on 2 and choose the zigzag stitch. Whenever you are sewing, gently guide your fabric under the needle and take your time. You have to ensure that your zigzag stitch does not touch your straight stitch. I'll give you a close-up shortly of what these two stitches should be looking like next to each other. Last piece to zigzag, then I will show you a close-up of what it should look like. A closer view of what the zigzag stitch should be looking like next to your straight stitch. The zigzag stays on the edge of the fabric and does not cross over to the straight stitch. This is what your swimsuit should be looking like now. The seams of your swimsuit are now a lot stronger. I want to make a scoop back for my swimsuit, so I'm going to cut off some more fabric. Be very careful not to cut the front of your swimsuit while you are doing this. The next step is to add elastic where I'm pointing. You can use whatever size elastic you want. I'm using 1/4 inch, and I'm also using the zigzag stitch to attach my elastic to my swimsuit. Go slowly while you are attaching your elastic to your fabric. I'm also gently pulling my elastic so that my swimsuit can hold on to my body and not be loose. This is how the elastic should be looking. If you pull the elastic too much while you are sewing, it's going to be too tight on you. And if you don't pull the elastic while you are sewing it, your swimsuit might be too loose. I tried many different ways to attach elastic to my swimsuits, and to me, this is the easiest way. You can try other ways and see what works best for you, but in my opinion, this is one of the easiest ways that you can attach your elastic. But there's no right way and no wrong way to do this. It's what works for you. One of the good things about learning to sew on your own is that you can be as creative as you want to get the job done. So keep practicing and you'll figure out what works for you. I will show you a close-up of what this should be looking like very soon. The attached elastic should be looking like this. We're actually almost finished. The last step is to stitch down the elastic by folding it over like this and sewing it down. All the parts that have elastic will be folded over and stitched down. We will use a straight stitch to sew down these parts with elastic, so remember to change your settings. Place your needle into your fabric, sew a few stitches, then pull your fabric as much as it can go. You have to pull as much as the fabric will allow so that your fabric is flexible when you are putting it on and the thread does not pop while you are trying to get into your swimsuit. If you don't want to pull the fabric while you are sewing the straight stitch, then you can use a zigzag stitch. Just fold it over, sew a zigzag stitch, and when you are putting on your swimsuit, that zigzag stitch will allow flexibility. So your two options for this stage is either do a straight stitch where you pull all the way, or do a zigzag stitch where you just fold it over and sew. I like using the straight stitch because of how it looks, but the zigzag stitch will still give you a strong swimsuit that fits well and looks good. To add a lining to the crotch of the swimsuit, cut a piece of scrap fabric into a rectangle. Place your rectangle by the crotch of the swimsuit, fold over the elastic and pin it down. You might need to trim off some extra fabric from your rectangle. Follow the elastic as a guide and trim off the extra fabric. Fold over the next side and pin that down as well. We are almost finished with this swimsuit. We just have to stitch down the elastic by the legs and that will be it. When you are sewing the crotch, do not pull the fabric. Just let the straight stitch sew. When you have passed the rectangle for the crotch lining, then you pull all the way. If you have any questions about this project, you can always message me on my business Instagram, or you could ask a question in the comments down below. I'm always happy to see how y'all are doing, and I'm so thankful for those of you who have sent me pictures of the stuff that you have tried from my tutorials. I don't think I ever mentioned this, but it's important to also have matching thread. It makes a huge difference in how your work looks. My thread collection is pretty ridiculous. Maybe one day I can show y'all. So whenever you buy your fabric for your project, make sure you buy thread to match. It's those little details that really give your finished product a professional look. Also, trimming your threads while you work makes your job quicker and of course makes it look cleaner. This is what your finished swimsuit would look like. Your regular machine can give you a very good swimsuit. This is what the crotch area should be looking like. The seams may not look exactly like they would if we had used a serger, but it definitely still does the job well. This is a front view of the swimsuit. You couldn't tell that we did not use a serger. I will try it on and let you all see how it fits It feels like a normal swimsuit. It doesn't feel any different than when I use a serger. The difference to me is when you look at the sewing, you could see the difference with the stitching. So here is the finished product. My swimsuit made with only my regular sewing machine. I'm actually thinking that I can make more swimsuits for myself without my serger. Take a close look at the swimsuit and let me know what you think. Do you think it looks any different? Would you make a swimsuit with a regular sewing machine? Of course, there are advantages of using my serger, but if I'm doing swimsuits for myself or my daughter, I can definitely skip the serger. I'm still seeing quality work despite using my regular machine.